Hey there, welcome to Rave Culture Cast, a podcast dedicated to fans of EDM and music festival culture. My name is Emma Capotis, a festival fanatic and dance music enthusiast who turned my passion for raving into an online career working with some of the biggest names in the industry. Festival tips, advice, hot topics, industry news, music, and more are all discussed here. Think of me as your unofficial rave mom, here to help you navigate the EDM community and festival world. Tune in every Wednesday for your weekly dose of peace, love, unity, and respect. Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I'm your host, Emma Capotis. What is up, all my rave casters? Welcome back to another episode. I hope you all are having an awesome week so far. Today I'm kind of just very chilled out, and I went to Lane 8 last night, so I'm still riding the high from that show. But it's been a really cool weekend, honestly, just having a very chill day. And I was like, why not just film this end of day Sunday? And we get to chat all about Electric Zoo today, which I'm really excited about. But I had a great show last night. If you guys ever have the chance to see Lane 8, first and foremost, he's an absolutely beautiful artist, and his music is so touching. I can listen to it at any point in the day. It's been the soundtrack to so many creative moments for me, when I was building out some of my courses, and then different projects I've worked on. I've put his sets on in the background, so I feel they're linked to very personal moments for me. And then seeing him live is incredible. This was the first time I ever saw one of his This Never Happened shows, which, for those of you who don't know, his label is called This Never Happened, and at his shows he has a strict no recording policy. So at this venue in particular, when you were outside, you had your phone, and then when you went to go in the arena, they put your phone in a pouch and locked it. So you held onto the pouch, but you literally couldn't open it, so no one can take any photos or videos, so that you can be fully present in the moment. So it was absolutely beautiful. And I know this is going to sound sad, but as a content creator, I'm always filming my shows, so I literally don't know the last time I attended a show and did not take a photo or video, because I do this for work. So it was just so fucking nice. We had the best time ever. I brought my younger brother. He never comes to shows. I don't even know the last time he went to a concert or anything. So he had a great time. It was just such a good vibe. So highly recommend seeing Lane 8 if you guys can. It was a really, really beautiful time. It was also at Forest Hills in Queens. If you guys are in the area, it was my first time doing a show at that venue. And I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. There were some sound issues for sure, which really sucked. For Le Youth and for Yado, who were the two openers, I could barely hear them. I could hear people talking in the crowd more than I could hear their set. So that sucked. It's also a much earlier show, which I kind of loved. So it started at 4:30 and it ended strictly at 9:45, which we didn't know what time it was because we couldn't look at our phones. But Lane 8 went on at 7 and we assumed he was going to play till 10. He played till 9:45. So I wish we went a little bit later, but we were home by 12, which was really nice. And then I was in bed. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me. Loved that show. Back to today's episode. I was going back through the archives of Rave Culture Cast, and I've never done an Electric Zoo episode other than my Electric Zoo review. I'm pretty sure, unless I did it back in 2019 when I started the podcast. But today it's going to be all about how to prepare for Electric Zoo. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experiences there. I've done this event, I think 3 times. So we'll talk about the theme this year, the stages, quickly go over the lineup, and then I have some Q&A at the end from questions that you guys submitted. So if you guys are planning to attend this year in the future, I hope you find this episode helpful. But before we go any further, I want to share a quick message from one of the friends of the podcast, which is Lunautics. You guys have heard me talk about them before. I've been working with Lunautics for years. They are my go-to business for face jewels, for glitter, all kinds of festival beauty supplies. They are an awesome team and small business, so I love to support them. They're always coming out with really beautiful and unique collections, very high quality face gems, all kinds of glitter, biodegradable glitter as well. I'm personally a big fan of the paint pots that they have. So you basically can like wet your brush and like dip into these paint pots and like draw on your face. So I use that for a lot of my festival makeup. A lot of them glow under UV lighting as well. So that's really cool, but absolutely love Lunautics. You guys can head over to their website, lunautics.com, and use code EmmaK for 10% off your orders. Code EmmaK for 10% off your orders at lunautics.com. Go show them some love. Pick up a bunch of stuff for festival season. All right, last thing I want to say before we dive in here, guys, we are bringing back one of the most popular topics on this episode, which is your most embarrassing festival stories. If any of you guys are the OGs and you've been around for a while, you know that this has been a reoccurring episode. I think we've done 3 so far, but I don't even know when the last one was. I should have looked it up. It was probably last year. I definitely haven't done any in at least a year. But when I first started this podcast, before I was like interviewing people and having other people come on, I was doing a lot of like stories submitted by our listeners, which I still want to continue to do those because I love having you being a part of the podcast. But your embarrassing stories were probably my favorite episodes to record because you guys literally did not hold back and you sent in the funniest fucking stories. So I posted a poll and I was like, actually somebody commented and on one of my old videos and they were like, can you do this again? And I posted a poll saying like, do you guys want me to bring this back again because it's been a while, and everybody unanimously voted for yes. So I'm looking for your most embarrassing festival stories, you guys. They will be anonymous. You will not know it's you, but you need to email me. So email your story into raveculturecast@gmail.com. That is raveculturecast@gmail.com. I will collect all of your submissions. I'll do this in a couple weeks, so you have a little bit of time, but literally send in your funniest, raunchiest, like whatever the fuck moments. I've said it all in this podcast before, so nothing is off limits, but I can't wait to do that. So with that being said, I'll take a super quick break here, and then we are going to dive into Electric Zoo. Alrighty, you guys. So I want to get through this relatively quickly, but I'm going to quickly tell you about my experience with Electric Zoo, just so you know where I'm coming from. So if some of you don't know, Electric Zoo is a 3-day electronic dance music festival that takes place over Labor Day weekend in New York City on Randall's Island. I went in 2016 was the first one, and I only did 1 day. I'm pretty sure it was Sunday. Then I went back in 2017, absolutely loved it, and then I think I definitely did 2019. I'm pretty sure I skipped 2018 because I was in Greece with my family. And then 2020, it didn't happen. And then I didn't go in 2021. So I went 3 years. For our area, it's definitely like one of the best like EDM festivals for sure. It's been around for at least 10 years. This might be the 11th or the 12th one. So it's a really nice festival, especially if you're in this area. It's definitely worth traveling to, I would say, for sure. I'm going to get into a little bit of like the new theme this year and what you guys can expect. But just again, from my experience, that's kind of when I was first getting into festivals, because my first festival was 2015. So 2016, 2017, like definitely was a part of me like really getting involved in the scene and then loving festivals. And again, it was the closest one to me to go to. So I still have like a special place in my heart for it. But one thing to take note of for this year is that Electric Zoo is under new management. So it was acquired by the owners of Avant Gardner and the Brooklyn Mirage, which is good news, I think, because there's going to be like a lot of changes. I've seen some teasers out there that we're going to have all new stages this year. And obviously based on the production and quality of Avant Gardner and the Brooklyn Mirage, like we have very high expectations for what this new partnership and acquisition means. So that's going to be really cool. Unfortunately, I'm not attending this year. I am going to go back to Arc Music Festival because that was right up my alley. That's a house and techno festival also on Labor Day weekend. So hopefully I'll be back at EZoo in 2023, but you guys are going to love it if you're going. So just know that there's new management. So I'm going to go over my pros and cons, and then we'll dive into this year's event. So some big pros for me: I always had like a great time with the crowd and the overall vibe. I know people can kind of like probably say like mixed things about the crowd and like the New York scene, but I've always had a fun time. I've met great people at EZoo. I've gone with like big groups in the past, and then I've gone with just a couple friends, but everybody seems to be cool. Like I would definitely say It's like a party type festival for sure. Like you are going to have a lot of people who are drinking. Like there definitely are a lot of like people in their early 20s, but it still is a pretty big range. The production is really cool here. So that's why I'm curious to see what they do this year. It's not as big of a festival, obviously, as like EDC Las Vegas or even Ultra. But they have had some like really cool stage designs in the past. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but I think that's a pro because it's really easy to navigate. So it doesn't take you that much time to get from stage to stage, which is really nice. And then each kind of stage has different takeovers. So you get a nice mix of genres at this festival, which is really cool. Top tier talent for sure. The lineup is like always probably one of the biggest selling points of this event. And it is a cool location. Like you do get a view of the city. Like I said, it's on Randall's Island. So we'll talk about transportation in a little bit, but it's like a nice mix. Overall, I would say for like a small to medium, actually it probably is medium. I'm not sure exactly how many people go, but for a medium-sized festival, you do get a nice mix of everything and the quality is pretty good. Like I said, great music, great sets. I've always had an amazing time at them. The food and drink options are really great here as well. I will throw that out there. Food for sure, like definitely try a bunch of different vendors and things like that. The alcohol situation, there are sponsored areas. I'll kind of just get into that really quickly. So you can, I'm pretty sure most of the vendors have like beer and seltzers and things like that. You can walk around with that. But for the 21 plus areas, you do get like a wristband and then you have to like drink your liquor in that area. You can't like walk around with that. So you have to finish it before you go out of the sponsored areas. So that's something to take note of. And then the other huge draw of Electric Zoo is the after parties. Like for sure, if you're going, make sure you plan to do some after parties because you're going to have things at Avant Gardner, the Mirage, King's Hall, which is over there. There's all kinds of different after parties in the area. So especially now that Avant Gardner acquired EZoo, like some of the after party lineups I remember from the fall were like, I honestly could have just gone to those and not even gone to EZoo. So that's a huge pro. And then on the con side of things, the biggest thing for me is the sound bleed. They've always had issues with this. I don't know if they're ever going to really address it, but two of the stages are very close to each other.
The sound bleed of these two stages is horrendous.
And depending on where you stand, they always had sound bleed issues. Security is pretty tight at EZoo, so just take note of that. Obviously, it's a major city. It's New York. Like they take it very seriously. Like you do get thoroughly patted down. They have dogs. Like they have everything there. But that's a good thing. They're making sure you're safe. But just know like security is tight at EZoo. From what I remember in 2019, the water stations sucked. Like the lines were really, really long and they definitely did not have enough water stations. So hopefully they address that. You know, that was 3 years ago at this point. So hopefully they address that. Getting there and leaving, I'll get into that in a little bit. But where I always come from, New Jersey, I have to take like 3 modes of transportation to get to Electric Zoo, which is insane. So it still takes me like 2 hours to get there. So it's never that easy. So I would recommend, even if you are local, like you could totally stay with a friend or get an Airbnb or get a hotel just so it's easier to get there throughout the weekend. And then the only other con I had is, and again, I saw some videos and like watched people's vlogs from 2021, but outside of the stages and the music, there's not that much going on. So they have like a couple art installations and like photo op areas. Like I said, they have some sponsored areas. But there's not that much stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like it's not that big of an event where they have like rides and games and like all that stuff. It's not like that. So it's kind of like music, partying, having a good time, after parties, that kind of vibe. All right, so let's hop into the festival facts. So just so you guys know what you're in store for. So Electric Zoo, like I said, 3-day festival. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It opens at 3 p.m. on Friday. Excuse me. And then it's at 1 p.m. Saturday, Sunday. And from what I remember, I think it goes till midnight, if not 11. And then it's an 18 plus event. So just note that as well. And then where to stay, like I said. So I'll talk about how to get there first, because that might determine where you actually want to stay for this. So there's multiple forms of transportation you can take. My favorite in the past was always the ferry. again, because I was coming from New Jersey. So I think it was like 35th Street and FDR Drive was the pickup, but it's all on their website. You can find out this information. You paid like one price for like a 3-day ferry pass, or you can get a single day pass. And then it's super easy. We would go to our friend's apartment in Hoboken. We would park there and then we would Uber to the ferry stop. But if you want, like, you can book a hotel right near the ferry stop. Like, that might be a good option. And then just walk over there. That would be pretty seamless. It's about a 20-minute ferry ride, I want to say. But it's nice. It's really scenic. Then you get to see like the whole city and go on the water. So that's pretty cool. So the ferry is great. That drops you off right at the event and you have like your own entrance to EZoo. The subway, of course, like depending on where you are in the city, if you just want to find like an affordable hotel, maybe that's not in like the immediate area, no problem. You can take a subway and get dropped off right near one of the bridges. So you can walk over, I forget exactly which bridge it is, but you can walk over the bridge to Randall's Island. There's multiple. There's a bridge to Brooklyn, and then there's a bridge to Manhattan, and then I forget where the other one is. But yeah, like a lot of people will go to like the entrance of the bridge in Manhattan, so you can like Uber to the entrance of the bridge or take the subway there, and then you can walk over onto the island. It's just like a decent walk, but you'll see a shit ton of people there. Like everybody's walking over the bridge. And same thing going home. If you don't want to do like rideshare or something like that, a lot of people will walk over the bridge like back into Brooklyn or back into Manhattan, and then they'll get like picked up from there. So there is like rideshare, but it is tricky because I remember previously, like we had been dropped off directly like to the island, and the Uber would take us like as close as they could, and then we would walk. But from what I remember in 2019, it was like a blackout zone to get picked up. So the Uber like couldn't come pick us up after the festival. So we had to walk over the bridge. There isn't like parking immediately in the area on the island, but I had some people correct me in the past saying like you can still park on the island. It's just like not very close by. So you still have to like walk a longer distance. I'm not exactly sure where those parking spots would be. So I would encourage you to do the ferry, the subway, the rideshare, and like walk the bridge. And then I believe there are also like buses and shuttles as well. So you have tons of options to get there. I have videos on my YouTube channel specifically about transportation as well, if you guys want to check that out. And then where to stay, like I said, like you could easily stay anywhere you want to. Like you could stay in the Upper East Side or Lower East Side, like anywhere on the East Side would be a really good option. But again, if you're like coming into New York for the first time or something and you're going to be like tacking on touristy kind of stuff, stay where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of pick any area. Getting an Airbnb or something in Brooklyn could be a really good option, especially if you want to do the after parties, because those are all in Brooklyn. Staying with a friend would be a good option. So there's plenty of things you can do. Like I said, a lot of my friends at the time in 2019 were in Hoboken and Jersey City, which is across the water. So, you know, it's just more transportation if you're coming from New Jersey, which sucks. But those are kind of like all the options as far as that goes. And then for tickets, I did GA 2 times, and then I had VIP in 2019. VIP is worth it if you guys want like the expedited entry, and they do have nicer air-conditioned bathrooms. And then you also have different VIP areas. So at main stage, it was to the left side. They had the biggest like VIP lounge area. So they had this like tented area inside that had like tables and couches and food and drinks and like bars and stuff. And then there was like an open air like area outside, and that was really nice. So we watched like a lot of the main stage headliners like Above and Beyond, and had like a really nice view. So that was good. And then there was a VIP area, I think at Hilltop Arena. It was one of the tented stages, and we got to be like right in the front for Eric Pritz's set. So if that's important to you, that could be something you want to invest in. But overall, I think GA is totally a good option as well. So either one would be fine. It just depends on your budget. And then the theme for this year. So let's talk about this year specifically. So this year is Electric Zoo 3.0. And from what I've gathered, it's like a futuristic city kind of vibe. I feel like this also is giving like a lot of like NFT kind of vibes. Like they definitely went like futuristic themed here, which is cool. So they have like all these different characters and cartoons and illustrations. So the concept seems really interesting. And there have been teasers that all of the stage designs are going to be new this year. So I'm very curious to see how they play into this theme with these stage designs. But that's what you guys can expect. And then again, so each of the stages, let me pull up the map from 2021. I believe there's 4 stages. So you have like the main stage design, which in the past, if you are familiar with EZoo, it used to be a different animal every year. So I went when it was the elephant and the snake. Oh gosh, which one? And then 2019, it was like a completely different design. They like got rid of the animal themes. So there's the main stage, then you have Riverside, you have Hilltop Arena, and then you have Sunday School, which was like the house music stage. And they had a whole new design in 2021 that looked sick. So I was like, wish I had seen that because it looked really cool. So we'll see what happens with all of those stages. Like I said, layout wise, it was pretty easy to navigate. So you had like the main entrance and security that people were coming in, and then you had the ferry drop off area, and then I think that was kind of it as far as like the different entrances. There might have been one more entrance, but main stage is kind of like off on its own, which is nice. And then Riverside and Hilltop Arena are relatively close to each other, so those are the ones that have like the sound bleed. And then Sunday School was kind of like off on its own, closer to the entrance of the festival. But yeah, all cool designs. It just depends on what they go with. I saw again like people's videos from last year. I sometimes like the tented stages because they can do like, they did an Elro takeover one year that was really cool. And then I remember one year, I think it was 2017, it was like subway themed, kind of like, it was just like really cool, like New York theme. And I remember Don Diablo's set in that tent was awesome. So yeah, so those are kind of like all the stages and what you can expect with that. And then the lineup. Let's quickly go through the lineup because I want to give you guys some recommendations and just point out a couple key things that you should take note of so that you don't miss out on any good artists. Alrighty, so if you guys are still with me, let's dive into this lineup. So for Friday, the 2 takeovers you have a Confession takeover at the Hilltop Arena, which is Chami's label. So if you are into house music, future house, bass house, like this lineup here is divine. You have Chami, Mala, Wax Motif, Matroda, Bijou, Taiku, New Light, and then Kapazi. Absolutely fire. The set conflicts are going to be brutal for you guys. I'm sorry. And then the other takeover is Brownies and Lemonade at the Grove. So I think the Grove must be the new, like it was called Sunday School in the fall, so now it's called the Grove. And that's Brownies and Lemonade. So you'll kind of get like a nice mix. You've got like bass music in here, electronic, experimental, like a little bit of everything. So that's going to be nice. And then the other ones to take note of, this is a big one for me at Riverside. This is like your trance and melodic bass and future bass. So this is very appealing to me. Pretty Pink is an incredible deep house artist. I got to interview her at EDC Las Vegas. Jem and Tori, my ladies, we had them on the podcast. They are incredible house act. Go see them live. Who else? Trifecta is incredible. And then Jason Ross, Elon Bluestone, and Abraxas. All amazing trance acts. And for those of you who don't know, Abraxas is Demibo and Seven Lions side trance act. They're like alias that they do together. So do not miss that. That's going to be fire. And then on main stage, obviously, you have the big headliners. So like Porter is playing and Slander and Diplo are kind of like the big people. And then Saturday, so the 2 takeovers this day is Bite This at Hilltop, which is Jaws' record label. So that's going to be really fire. He picked a nice mix of artists for that. And then that's the only like label takeover for that day. But for that, you have Jaws, Sudden Death, Diesel, Dimension, Whipped Cream, More Kismet, Excerpt, I think it's Baralon, and then Renee. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So Jaws kind of went, you never know what direction he could go. So he has a lot of dubstep and bass on here. Really good artist, a little bit of drum and bass. So that's always cool to see. Your headliners on main stage, you've got Armin van Buuren, Chris Lake, DJ Snake, Gorgon City, John Summit, Armin Hammer, Surf Mesa, Gattuso, and Pauline Hare. I would probably be at main stage a lot on Saturday. I'm not going to lie. Like I just saw Surf Mesa at Electric Forest and didn't know that much about him, and he was really fun. But like Chris Lake, Armin, Gorgon, and John, I would 100% be at. Riverside is going to be your bass music this day. So you've got like Peekaboo, Champagne Drip, Subdocta, 100 Drums is incredible. Sully's great. And then the Grove, this is like house and techno. This lineup is fantastic. Like, recommend all of these artists. Like, Biscuits is a big one for me. He was one of my favorite sets at EDC Las Vegas. But Camel Fat, Christoph, Will Clark, never miss Will Clark, amazing techno artist. Biscuits, Kyle Walker, Bonton is incredible. We had Bonton on the podcast. Nala, Quarter, and Luna Mar. Yeah, I'd honestly probably be at the Grove and Main Stage most of Saturday. And then Sunday, your two takeovers. This one is super special. You have Carl Cox Invites takeover at the Hilltop Arena, which this is, I believe, it's been 11 years since Carl Cox has played Electric Zoo, which is really exciting. And he, like, this talent, right, that he had curated here with all like house music and techno, a little bit of techno, is pretty fucking remarkable. Actually, no, this is all house music, excuse me. Loco Dice, Andrea Oliva, back-to-back Ilario Alicante, Shalina Menahutu, DJ Holographic, and Charles Myers. Like, you really cannot go wrong with that. That is remarkable. And then you have the Odyssey, I hope we said that right, Odyssey takeover at Riverside, which is Closey's label. And I'm really bummed I missed Closey at Electric Forest, but she's doing something super special. So you have a lot of really amazing bass acts there. Recno, Enzo, Mersive, Roman Silver, really great. And then quickly, the Grove again. This is all house music, so you can't go wrong. You've got AC Slater. Can't go wrong with Night Bass. Side Piece is amazing every single time. Honestly, everybody. I'm going to go through the whole lineup here. And then your main stage headliners on Sunday. You know, this is a big one for me, Seven Lions. This is why it kills me that I'm not going. But Seven Lions, Martin Garrix, Afrojack, Subtronics, Gordo, Vinny Vici, Lost Kings, Shipwreck, and Mime. So you have some really, really amazing talent. I'm not going to lie. I think Electric Zoo popped off this year with the lineup. Personally, I think that's a really amazing mix. Very, very stacked lineup. So you guys are going to have a blast, like, no matter what you choose. But that is everything as far as the lineup. Couple other things I want to get into here, and then just super quick Q&A, and then we're done, you guys. But I think I touched on security enough, but if you have any questions, please drop them down below in the comments. Like I said, I've done this 3 times, so happy to answer anything you guys want to know about security. But again, I would just be friendly and open. Don't cause a scene or a fight or anything like that, because I had it in my vlogs in the past. Like, they were pulling people out left and right, and they are a little bit aggressive with searching people. So just keep your cool and be polite. That's the best way to get through. Keep your bag open, read the prohibited items list so that you don't even give them a reason to pull you to the side, because they had this tent that they were checking people in, and the line was so long of people they were searching. So just keep your bag open. Don't bring anything you're not supposed to bring in with you. Be polite and just get through the line. For the weather has been touch and go in the past. Luckily, knock on wood, the last few years it's been beautiful. It can be very, very hot in New York Labor Day weekend. In 2019, I was outfit-wise, I was in a full rave set. And I was still sweating my ass off in the heat. So wear sunscreen, stay hydrated, you guys. You can bring in lunch boxes, Camelbacks, hydration packs. You can bring those in, so I highly encourage it. But the weather can be really beautiful, and then it's also rained on us plenty of times too. So just check the weather and bring a poncho if you need to. We've talked about the setup, like I mentioned, super easy to navigate. When the map comes out, you guys just check out where the medical tents are, bathrooms, all the important things, so you know where all that is. Food, just try everything. Big Mott's is one of my favorites there. But they had good desserts there too. I wish I ate more at EZoo, but I recommend trying a bunch of different things. I already covered alcohol, but I remembered at main stage, usually if you're looking at the stage right, there was a tequila sponsored area. So again, you can go up to these sponsored alcohol areas, and then they just card you, and then they put a 21 plus wristband on you, and then you can go in the area and hang out and drink, and then you have to stay in there until you finish your drink, and then you can leave. I think there was we did a Smirnoff area one year. I think there was a Bacardi area one year, and they're all different themes. So you have those going on, but you can just buy beer and wine and seltzers, I'm pretty sure, at any of the vendors, and you can walk around with those. And then crowd, like I talked about, I think it is like you get what you give. So just be polite, keep the plur mentality with you, say excuse me when you're walking through the crowd. Like that goes a long way. So yeah, and I didn't actually have this in here, but if you guys are curious about outfits as well, like I said, this is a pretty ravey festival for sure. People definitely get like fully dressed up in festival outfits. It's hot, so dress accordingly for that. You could still go a little bit casual if you want to, totally fine. You guys can literally wear whatever. Again, just check like the prohibited items list. I'm trying to remember if this is a totem festival because I don't think it is. I don't think you can have totems, but people will always have like inflatable things and stuff like that. But I would just triple check that. People do group costumes for this. I've seen so many good like group outfits before. Like I said, I've worn like a lot of like rave sets and just like gotten fully decked out for this. So I've always had fun with it. And, you know, it's fun. I have outfit idea videos on my YouTube channel if you guys want to see that. And if you want a new one, just let me know. And then lastly, for the after parties. So like I mentioned, probably soon they'll probably start rolling out the lineups for that. And let me pull up what it was last year, you guys. I can't even like make this shit up. Electric Zoo After Party 2021. It was a mix. Like they had like fully base lineups, like all house lineups. And if you've never been before, essentially Avant Gardner is like the indoor like great hall that they have. So that's an indoor like massive space. And then like they just redesigned the Brooklyn Mirage. If you go outside Avant Gardner and like walk down this hallway, then you can enter the Mirage, and that's an all outdoor space. And then if you go back in the hallway and walk down to the end of the hallway, that's King's Hall, and it's the smaller like club-like space. So it's all like in one block, but I'm pretty sure you buy tickets to separate events. So they had like the house set with like Fisher and John Summit and all of that and like King's Hall, and you had to buy tickets to that. Then they had like a completely separate show at the Mirage, and then a third show was happening like at Avant Gardner. So they were using like all three of their spaces. So they will most likely do that again this year. Okay, yeah, quickly, if anybody's interested, I'm going to go through this because I remember reading this last year and I was like, oh, this hurts. So I think this was the Electric Zoo Supernaturals after party, which I think was 2021. So on Friday at the Mirage, they had Fisher, Rebuke, Martin Eichen, and Charles Meyer. So the Mirage was all like house music. And then in Great Hall, they had Dead Beats. So it was a whole Zed's Dead show. And then in King's Hall, it was a Brownies and Lemonades takeover. And then they had two other venues last year. So they also did stuff at Quantum Brooklyn, which is a really cool, like small, like super small room essentially, but it's very intimate and the sound system's great. So that's always fire. And then Webster Hall they used as well, which is in Manhattan. So that's the only one on this list not in Brooklyn. So that's always great. And then Saturday at the Mirage, they had Test Pilot, Art Bat. Bitch, like, are you kidding me? You get Deadmau5 and Art Bat at the Mirage, fire. At Avant Gardner, they had, again, a base. So I think they pretty much kept it as Avant Gardner was the base area. So they had like Zomboy and Dirt Monkey and Blank. King's Hall was John Summit, Kyle Kinch, and Dishetto. Quantum Brooklyn, that night, this one killed me. It was Sonny Fodera and West End. And Webster Hall was Audion and Zach Martino and Harbor. And then on Sunday, the Mirage was Cashmere and Nitty Gritty and Afaya. You had Adventure Club at the Great Hall. And then Quantum was Dom Dalla, Mason Maynard, and Quarter back-to-back Devin James. And Webster Hall was Alan Walker, Over Easy, and Mind Tricks. So like I said, you're going to get absolutely stacked after parties based on the lineup. So you can kind of like guess who there might be takeovers from, but you really can't go wrong. What I would probably recommend, like you could definitely go to the after parties after the festival. Just make sure, again, you're reading like the prohibited items list for those venues and just figure out what your transportation options are going to be, because you just want to make sure you're planning accordingly. Like maybe, again, you want to stay in Brooklyn so that it's easier to go to those venues, or, you know, it might just be a little bit tricky to like leave the venue, go back to Manhattan to then go back to Brooklyn. Like you might just want to go straight to the after parties. So just think about that when you guys are planning. All right, I'm going to take a super quick break right here, and then we'll do a super quick Q&A, and then we'll wrap this episode up. All right, you guys, so let's read your questions here. I'm pretty sure I probably touched on a lot of these, but let's see. Who is somebody you haven't seen on the lineup that you recommend checking out? That is a great question. I would say on Friday, who have I not seen? I don't even know. I think I've seen a lot of these people. Honestly, I haven't seen a full Abraxas set. So if we can count that, because I saw only like 5 to 10 minutes at EDC in the fall and I like regretted not seeing it. So I would say Abraxas and I would say Netski or Netsky. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I would say that for Friday. Saturday, I would, who have I not? Dimension. Do not fucking miss Dimension. Drum and bass. Absolutely incredible. I've heard nothing but amazing things. I really like his music. So Dimension for sure would be high up on my list. And then who else haven't I seen? I still don't think I've seen Nala live to this day. And Nala's an amazing house artist and I love listening to her. I think her vibe is incredible. I'd love to have her on the podcast one day. She's Dirty Bird fam. So if you guys like Dirty Bird, go see Nala. And then on Sunday, who have I not seen? I would go see Gordo because this is like Carnage reincarnated. Like Carnage is gone. He has closed that project, opened a new chapter, and now he does like all house music with his project Gordo. Sometimes he drops some techno drops as well. So I would really want to see what Gordo does for sure because I haven't seen him. I don't think, have I seen like the Carl Cox Invite stage, like DJ Holographic, I would say, like Ilario Alicante would be really, really exciting for me. Closey, I still haven't seen a Closey set, so she would be really high up on my list along with Rekno. Love Rekno. His vibes are amazing. So those would be all the people I haven't seen that I would really want to see. My favorite way to get to the festival, again, for me, the ferry was always easiest. It was just like the line moved quickly. They kind of had them coming and going, so you weren't really waiting that long, and it just was easy to get back into the city. That way we didn't have to deal with walking over the bridge. We didn't have to deal with trying to get a ride share with all these people. It was like one and done. What do you do outside of the event? So you can do a million and one things. Like I recommend coming early and staying late if you want to just explore the city as well. Like there's so many cool neighborhoods and amazing places to eat, and it's still summer, so you can go to like really fun rooftop bars. I'm pretty sure I did a video on my YouTube channel about this, like what to do in the city outside of EZoo. But there's museums, like there's a million and one things you could do that I would highly recommend coming in early to do exploring outside of the festival. Pros and cons of VIP. Again, I feel like my answer within this last year, if you guys have noticed, has changed because I was always like so hardcore GA and now I'm like kind of hardcore VIP. But I think it's because as I get older, I just really appreciate the amenities of VIP and it's worth spending money on for me personally. So I would say pros is like the viewing areas, like being able to just like easily get to the stages, having the bathrooms closer to you so you don't have to like leave your spot and go. Like it's just easy to navigate with VIP. The expedited entry is nice, and then the nicer bathrooms so you're not in the porta potties all weekend long. Those are definitely the pros. Cons, it's not that big of a festival, so you don't get like all of these insane amenities that you would at like an EDC or an Ultra or something like that. So it's not like crazy amenities that you get for VIP. But again, if you want the space and the enhanced experience, I think it's worth it. And then somebody said, where do you spend most of your time? I honestly, the stages have changed so much in these past few years. So when I was going in 2016, 2017, like I was a main stage girl, right? I was still just getting into the scene. So I was at main stage a lot. But then I think it was Riverside, which was the tented stage. I think I was at Riverside the second most. And then had I gone in the fall, the Sunday school / the Grove, now that it's called, the like house music stage, I'd be living at the Grove this year if I was going. So that's where I would be spending most of my time. All right, you guys, that's pretty much everything. I want to dive into our Rave Culture Cast recap here to tell you what's going on in the news so that you guys don't miss out on anything happening in this world. So first and foremost, Slander teased that their debut album, Thrive, is going to be coming this fall on September 22nd. So Slander fans get really excited for that. Subtronics and Level Up got engaged, which congratulations to them. It was super cute seeing those posts. I don't follow them like super closely, but their posts were really adorable, and I know their fan bases are really excited for them. So that was really cool to see two DJs getting engaged. And I know they've like been on tour together and things like that. So congratulations to Level Up and Subtronics, you guys. We have some Seven Lions news, of course. Seven Lions wiped his Instagram account, and you know, there's been word of an album coming, so we think that could possibly be what's happening here. He also just announced a show at the Vanguard in Orlando, and I believe this is his first time playing there, so that's going to be sick. If you guys are in the area, highly recommend going. I went to the Vanguard in the fall for the Armin van Buuren after party after EDC Orlando, and it was a really cool venue, so I would definitely recommend going there. So that was cool. We do have the Wakan lineup. So that is going to be back this year in the fall. This is Liquid Strangers Festival, September 28th to October 1st. So yeah, if you guys are into like the wobbly bass shit, I think you'll very much like this. You've got a nice mix of everything. So like Closey is on here, which is awesome. Sub Doctor, 100 Drums. I've been talking about her a lot. She's an amazing act. Jansen, Enzo, Kiva has been on my radar lately. Of the Trees, Potions, Saruda, Taboo. Really nice mix. I have a couple friends going to this festival, and I know they're super excited about it. So you guys have that as well. And then Nala. We were just talking about Nala a little while ago. I didn't know this was coming, but she just launched her own label, Me Domina, and she just dropped an EP as well. So this was on EDM Maniac, which is really cool. So like I said, she's in the Dirty Bird family and has just been like really growing these last few years. It's been really cool to watch her career develop. And so she released her own femme-dominated Me Domina label with a 3-track EP, Get Familiar, which is now out. And it says her label, Me Domina, is an homage to Nala's Italian heritage and femdom culture where women are in charge. Fuck yes, I love that. I'm wearing my Femme House shirt today too, which is my LPGOB merch, but we love it. I love to see women popping off in this industry. More power to her. So really, really cool. It says the underground scene has shaped Nala's sound. She's best known for her analog synthesizers and 90s punk vocals. So congratulations. That's a huge, huge step in somebody's career. So it's really exciting to see more women starting labels in this space. So I will keep you guys posted on new releases from them, but definitely go give Nala a follow and check out the new label. I think that's it. The last thing I want to touch on really quickly, it's kind of like it was in the news a lot, but I think everything's kind of like squared away, but just so you guys are aware, because you know, I want to make sure everybody out there is being safe. There were some threats against North Coast Music Festival. I don't know if anybody saw this, but essentially there were some posts online from this guy saying like targeting North Coast Music Festival. There was initial tweet warning of violence and screenshots of what appeared to be a Facebook post describing a shooting at the festival, including racial slurs and mention of violence, which is beyond unacceptable and fucked up. And I believe the person was arrested because the police did look into it. So, the police and organizers of the event said they are monitoring threats made by made to individuals and artists associated with the festival. And there was like follow-up posts, and I believe the man who did all of this was arrested, and they're monitoring the situation and him as well. So, you know, I have all the faith that the organizers and everybody involved with the law enforcement are going to make sure that you guys are safe. But this is why it's just like important to remember these are big events. You just never know. So like have your wits about you, be aware of your surroundings, know where the exits are, know where the medical tents are, like all of that stuff, you guys. So please be safe out there. Take care of each other. You have a lot of options for Labor Day weekend. I know it's a big festival weekend. Like I said, I'll be at ARC, but I hope this information was helpful to you guys. I do think it's worth doing Electric Zoo at least once. It's really, really cool to see this event carrying this flame in the New York City like nightlife scene for so long. Very promising with this new acquisition. So I'm very excited to see what they do with all of the stages. You literally cannot go wrong with this lineup. It's absolutely fantastic. So I think you guys are going to have an amazing time. Any other questions? drop them below. I'm here to help you. I have more videos up on my YouTube channel as well if you guys want to check them out. I've been posting about EZoo since 2017, so don't hate on the old footage that I have. It's just frozen in time, okay? But yeah, we're at the end here. If you guys enjoyed the episode, I would love if you would rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things. All of our socials are linked down below if you want to connect with us, along with our Facebook group and our Discord channel. So our Discord server, excuse me. I'm still new to Discord, guys. I'm still learning. But I really appreciate you listening. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for showing up every week and supporting the podcast. It means the world to me. Enjoy EZoo, and I will see you guys next week in a new episode. Bye, guys.